right, welcome back, and we're having our second conversation of the morning, and we have with us two representatives from the Belize City Council. We have with us Troy Smith. He is the Valuation Manager of the Belize City Council, as well as Frank Thompson. He is the Revenue Manager of the Belize City Council. And the conversation this morning is all about land tax, property tax.
Property tax.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
All right, well, let's get things started. We know that land tax is an issue for a lot of people, but especially for the Belize City Council, because the issue is people aren't paying.
Yeah.
And as a result, you guys aren't creating any money. Monies aren't being generated. Let's talk about that issue. Let's start there first.
Well, let me, first of all, let me give an overview. Belize City, in our view, have about 25,000 survey properties, right? So far, we registered over 16,000 for tax purpose, all right, which give us about over 10 million current per year. We use a formula that we call the construction method, because in Belize, we talk about, the law talk about rental value and market value. For example, if a property is occupied, it's based on the rental value, which is 10% rate by law. If it's unoccupied, it is 2% of the value of that property. So now what we do, new construction within Belize, we try to find the market value to get the rental value. And that formula is so accurate because in 2016, the Ministry of Local Government have done a mass training for all valuers within the Belize City the country, I believe, with all valuators to look at one central formula, because the agreement got a different way how to approach the assessment versus PG versus San Pedro. So we try centralize the database and the actual best practice within the Caribbean. And so by saying that, the Belize City Council realized that on the tax system we have a huge amount of arrears, unpaid taxes. And you may know, for one, the property tax is number one revenue earner for the Belize City Council. But for the council to provide the essential services, it must get its revenue. And at that time, when we do our cost analysis, one street might have $110,000 assessment, but only 1% is being paid. But the same street, people want drain, they want cement street, they want walkway, but the council cannot provide if the tax is not being paid. So the council is not a profit margin organization, it's a revenue generated organization. And people want so much service, but again, some people don't want to pay the taxes.
And let's be honest, this is an issue that has years of people not paying taxes. It's not just 1 year.
Correct.
Are you able to give an idea of perhaps how long some properties have not been paid as it relates to taxes?
Yeah, there are some for 15 years.
Wow.
And not of an effort of trying to reach them. Let me say why we're here today, because for that same concern, there are a lot of accounts on the tax base where we got absentee owners, where a lot of dynamics have been changed over the years for that property, where we have no contact, no email. And that's why I know the City Council embarked on these 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, this property tax clinic. What is the purpose of it? It's 10 different things we want to address. One is the issue of change of ownership. This concept of Bemopan change the name, City Council should have known, or should have the information, no. The law provides that once you become the new owner of a property, the new owner must notify the local authority within 30 days. People don't know this. People believe that it should be automatic from lands to City Council. Next issue that we want to address at the clinic is the issue of cancellation of lease. Every single day lease have been cancelled at the lands department, but the City Council has the previous leaseholder name. Let me strike something here. This misconception of only when I become the owner, I must go to City Council. No. The law speaks about under Section 4. Once you become the owner of a leased property, you are liable to taxation. This concept of until I become the owner, then I will go to City Council. No, that's not legal. Section 4 speaks as the date of preemption, while so once you become the leasing owner, you are taxable by law. And so we have this issue where lease have been cancelled, the city council don't know, and we continue to bill you when become the new owner. All right? And so when the people come in and bring this type of information to us, because we are doing a data cleansing in the system, where we want to identify the change that was made from lands and then bring it to city council. Next issue, mutation. Every day property is being surveyed, mutated, and assigned new parcel number. Our system have the old parcel number. So we encourage people to come into city council.
To update their information.
Yeah, information.
All right, let's move things over to Frank. You are the revenue manager over at the Belize City Council. Let's talk about your role in this current initiative of dealing with property taxes in Belize City.
Okay. Well, in regards to this initiative, we're trying to get those that have arrears to come in and try to make some kind of arrangement to settle the taxes. Because apart from this, the other initiative is a follow-up of this one in dealing with those abandoned properties, those overgrown lots. Because if we look at the tax system, you'll see maybe like 70–75% of the people pay consistently. It's that small percentage, that 25%, that don't pay, and that accumulates over 15 years. It builds.
Yeah.
So with interest accumulating as well, you'll say maybe $30 million outstanding, but it's only for a small portion of the properties.
Yeah.
When we look, sorry, go ahead.
So because of that, now we're trying to find a new initiative to address these properties and try and see if we can reduce that outstanding balance.
When we look at property tax being the primary revenue generator for the Belize City Council, and you look at the fact that perhaps this goes in a cyclical form, where there's a period where people are paying their taxes and what have you, and then there's a lull. How is the City Council able to float its expenditure and deal with other initiatives when you have a public that is not necessarily up to scratch with its taxes?
Okay. Well, in that we have become kind of expert in that when we collect the mass, we try and put away that we could spend it over the period of time to hold us in a, what we call a low period, no?
Basically, you guys have to save for the rainy season when people don't pay.
Yes.
You know, I'm curious. We obviously, we have to pay our taxes for land. Is there a point where the government would say, okay, you haven't been paying for this amount of time, we're going to warn you that we could potentially take back your land? Is that a thing?
It's not take back. At the city council level, we auction properties.
Okay.
Which is our last resort. We try to do, as I do with Vigilance, try to go on Facebook, the website, to try to find you. And we put it in the newspaper, publish your name. And so it's a length of time to do that.
Would that be the case of an abandoned lot or abandoned property, or also for persons living on the land?
Yeah. Basically, when it comes to occupied property, we try not to go to the extent of selling, but the law provides for garnishing. And so because sometimes the market value is greater than the tax, and so the court now allow you to sell a property value $1 million for $5,000 a tax. And so you can do another way where you garnish, maybe get your stove, your TV, your sofa, and sell it to pay the tax. It's in the law.
Okay.
But these are things that we try not to go to the extreme unless we have to. But we try to do the 3E. We try to engage, educate, then enforce. The last we want to enforce. So we have this mantra that if we could engage with you and educate you, there's no need for enforce because you understand what next. But there is provision in the law that we can sell your property to recover the taxes. All right. I could say over the years we sell a lot of properties by public auction, tremendously in the era of public response. We get a huge amount of response to that. But again, that's not the mandate of the council. It's about compliance. It's about paying your tax and get the city up and running. And so there is provision, but in the era of land department though, where you don't pay your land tax, they can cancel your leasee holder. When it comes to occupied title property lands, don't cancel, but there's a provision in the law that they call it public acquisition. They can take back the land for public use. So there is provision in the law to to enforce, all right? Which again, our thing is not about
Yeah, that's
that.
not the goal.
It's about getting people online with the council, pay your tax. Then there are many revenue streams to pay. Online, with this clinic, we will have parking, free parking at the city council. And then when you come, we got a ticket purpose. When you come, you show that you're coming to the clinic, you get it free. Because the issue is downtown, no parking. And so people say, but you tell me come down let the downtown city hall, but no parking, right? But there is a provision for that. I want to highlight the issue of register your property. There are over, in our books, 3,000 properties thereabout that are not registered on the tax rolls for many reasons. One is the issue of estate issue. One is the issue of title dispute within the community. Next issue is encroachment and occupying, displacement of owners. So there's many issues within the city, and so the Belize City Council take initiative to work with the Ministry of Lands and try to, through our GIS platform, how we could centralize the data within the system in real time. Because we find we're losing a lot of money every day when you're not coming in to register your property. And there is provision for us to do it, all right? But we love to engage. We want to educate and get the tax system up and running.
So that's a part of what the tax clinic will be aiming to achieve.
Do you have an idea of how much money is out there, perhaps, that is yet to be collected? We're talking a backlog of taxes that are unpaid.
Well, right now the system shows about approximately 30 million. But like I said, with the data that he has being incorrect, there's probably maybe a third of that needs to get written off. Because then
that are uncollectible.
Yeah.
Because they're abandoned?
Well, probably like they don't exist. For example, like in certain areas where they go and squat,
Okay.
then a lot is supposed to be there, but because they squat, the street goes through a lot, so that lot doesn't exist.
gotcha.
So like those kinds of issues that we have.
Okay. So let's present a situation. I am a landowner, and I show up at the land clinic to try to get my affairs in order. I have not been able to pay my taxes, nor do I have the money to pay the taxes because of cost of living, whatever the excuse is. What can we do to work together?
There is, once you come to the clinic and we understand your financial, economic situation, we try to work with you, all right? But you cannot be exempt from taxes. But we try to work with you. Mr. Thompson deal with payment plans.
Okay.
All right, we got consent, we got a quota, and make a payment every single month or every week. So there's a provision, there's an open area where we could tell you, come in and talk to us. The issue is people not coming in. So I don't know your situation. So if you come into us, we can work with you, all right? But you cannot get street if you don't pay your tax, man. This issue of, I want this, you got to put in something into the kitty. The kitty is a central fund. And so this is the type of where we want to engage with city residents to understand their needs. There is provision in the law that where a person become, what we call, cannot afford to
Indigent.
pay. Indigents. The law provides that you come in and say the council will write the Ministry of Government to the minister to look at your financial background. We do an investigation, and there's a provision for some consideration. It's in the law. But if you come in and talk to us, we can find a way to work with you. And that is all about the clinic, to engage with city residents to see how we can work together for one common good to achieve the common good to get the city up and running.
Yeah.
And then the issue with some people is that they're of the misconception, well, I have a mortgage on my property, so you can't touch me. But it's not so. According to the law, property taxes come first, before your mortgage, before your everything else. That's
So
the first priority.
you could still auction my land if I pay a mortgage.
Yes, and we have done it.
Yikes. Yikes. Let's talk about that then. In the cases that you guys would be auctioning abandoned lots, is it something that we know that when it's auctioned, it's who has the highest bid, but can someone just perhaps purchase a piece of abandoned property that's lying in Belize City?
No, in the Belize City Council Act, it must be a public action.
Okay.
It must be transparent. What we're doing now, we're doing it live through our Facebook and live streaming.
Okay.
So even with the diaspora, they could tap into the type of sale and try to do their bid, all right? Because the diaspora have an issue where things happen as the city or the country and they don't know. And so they may have a meeting a couple of years ago in LA town meeting and the diaspora speak about this. Man, engage us, man. We want to know what happened. We want to buy too.
Yeah.
And so what we try to do now, since this year, we start to put everything virtual, everything live. And so you could bid. You got somebody out there to bid for you. Once you win the bid, you put your 10% and 14 days to put the balance down. And then the city council provides all the service. We do the transfer your pay stamp duty. We get a title. We call you, come for your title at the council. And we give it into your hand. So everything we do.
Yeah.
So it's just go down, purchase, and you win the bid. Everything is up to the council to facilitate the process. It's a good avenue. This forum come June 20 at the Civic Center to look at several issues. The current issue we have with abandoned properties, the legal perspective, all right, of that, and then the issue of the other one is the City Council Action Plan, how we address these abandoned properties within Belize City, because there's too much of them. They create nuisance to our community. They become the value properties within the area. And so, yes, we understand they are absentee owners. We understand they can't pay. The idea is to how we need to address these issues to clean up the city of these rodents and this hotspot, because you may know a couple of years ago, it cost the council a huge amount of revenue to clean up the hotspots at night, because we have night shift also. And it costs us a lot of money. And so we're trying to get this forum to make everybody come in and give them to say, we hear from you, hear from us, what is our plan? And you could give your recommendation and we come together and we go forward. That's the idea of the public forum. But we look at the legal part though, because the issue of action, the issue of selling the properties on site, there's many ways to do it, but everything has to go through a legal framework.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that is why we're looking at this forum to give an idea, because what happens currently, the process to get to action, especially for those empty and abandoned lots, it's very lengthy. So if we start now, it might take maybe a year before we get to the actual action. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm interested to know, when it comes to online auctioning, you're playing against technology though. What if my internet is slow this time and somebody else auction ahead?
No, when I said online action, I means that the action is live on the ground.
Okay.
But you could view.
Okay.
All right, it's a virtual action, but you have a bid, so you have to send someone on the
Got
site.
you. Oh, I was
But
wondering.
you see it, but then you got people on it telling by carry it up for
Got
5,000
you.
more.
'Cause-
So the idea is not online bidding, but it's online awareness, so you could tell this aware. You see
Do
live
it live.
Okay.
where the value is, and you could put in more. and
But
stuff.
okay, all right, got you. All right. Well, do you guys have any other information as it relates to the clinic and what the viewers should know
Yeah.
when it comes to property taxes?
Yeah, I just want to encourage property when we have property tax dispute, property tax issues. These are the 2 days for us to meet with you and address these issues as quick as possible. The issue of probate, where the person who owned the property died. We want to also tell you there's a process how to deal with that. The issue of encroachment, the issue of the reassessment process. So it's a wide spectrum of issues that we want to address when it comes to the property tax clinic. And then with the public forum, property tax abandoned properties, come in, man. And if you got a property abandoned, bring your issues to us.
Yeah.
This is where we are, and we are trying to open the actual corridor for you to engage with your city council
Yeah.
and the tax process.
And we could stop blame city council for not have a street space.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
That is
that, right?
true.
And any last words from you, Mr.
Well,
Thompson?
As a revenue manager, I would encourage people to take civic pride, come in, keep the place clean, because even that costs if you're not paying and I still have to pay someone to clean. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, try to keep the city clean, wash your lots, and make an effort to come and settle the taxes.
Yeah.
And we will work with you.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, for the information. And just to remind the viewers, the clinic is June 20th. Parking
The
is
forum,
free.
the
as,
forum.
Sorry,
The forum is June 20th.
what did I say?
The clinic is
Yes.
Wednesday and Thursday of
Yeah,
this
okay,
week.
okay. Wednesday and Thursday of this week, and the forum is June
Yeah.
30th. Parking is free, and go on and settle any
Yeah.
information that you feel like you need to know or that you're not aware of. Go and meet with the representatives from the city council.
It will be downstairs at the hub.
downstairs at the hub.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, it's all about hurricane preparation. We're in June, so you know what that means. Don't go away.